Chef Tony Matassa, BBQGuys.com. Today's segment we'll be doing a slow smoked beef brisket on our grill dome Kamado, but you can do the same recipe on just about any Kamado you have. All you have to do is make sure you set it up for indirect cooking, which we'll do later. But for now, let's get down to the ingredients that you'll need. First up, you'll need 1/4 to 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of dried rosemary, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of turbinado sugar, 2 tablespoons of fresh chili powder, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper, 2 teaspoons of celery seed, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of dried thyme, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and 2 tablespoons of fresh cracked black pepper. If you plan to spritz your brisket down like I'll be doing every couple hours, you will want 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar and 1/2 cup of apple cider. And of course, you will need 3 to 4 cups of wood to smoke your brisket with. Today I'll be using about 2 cups of hickory and 1.5 cups of cherry. When you do get your brisket home, take it out of the package, depending on whatever kind you got. If you did get a flat, you will see the fat side. Now the first thing you want to do is trim your fat side down until it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. Just pull away at the fat and slice slowly until you have it all trimmed. Turn your brisket back over to where the meatier side is showing and inspect for any large membranes or silver skin. You'll want to remove all of those. That can be done with a very sharp knife. Just lift the membrane away from the muscle a little bit and carefully slice it away. Once you have your brisket trimmed, you're ready to put your spice rub together. Toss all of your herbs and spices into a container together and blend them together well with a clean pair of hands. I like to pat my brisket dry with 2 or 3 paper towels and transfer it to a clean pan. Thoroughly rub and coat your brisket with the extra virgin olive oil. Now rub in your spice mixture well by first patting, followed by rubbing the spices in using the back of your fists. When you have completely rubbed your brisket, it should look something like this. Now, very tightly wrap your brisket with plastic wrap. And place this beautiful package in your refrigerator for at least 2 hours, but I would recommend doing it overnight. While we're waiting on our brisket, it's a perfect time to go ahead and soak your wood chips if you're going to soak them. Some people prefer just to put them in dry. I like to soak mine, so I'm going to be soaking mine in just a second. But also, I'll be setting up my grill dome for indirect cooking. I filled the bottom of the firebox almost all the way to the top full of nice size natural lump charcoal. And I've also reserved several fistfuls of natural lump that we're going to light in a chimney starter. And then once we get them, the coals are nice and lit, we'll pour them on top of these unlit coals, and that'll help to keep things going a lot longer while we're smoking our brisket. Time to light the reserved charcoal. Almost there. Perfect. Won't be long now before we put our brisket on. Just dump the unlit coals on top. Now my wood chips. Double decker for my water pan. And my cooking grid. My grill dome is at about 250 degrees Fahrenheit, and I just removed the brisket from the refrigerator. You want to place your brisket fat side down, and you want to place it right out of the refrigerator while it's cold onto the grill, just like this. And for now, that's it. That's the great thing about a brisket. We're basically done until the brisket's done. I will check on it every few hours to basically check on the water pan itself and do some spritzing on the outside coating, make sure it doesn't burn, and just to give it a little extra flavor. And I'll show you that coming up. We'll blend together the apple cider vinegar and the apple cider. And at about 1.25 hours per pound, I will insert my probe into the thickest part of the brisket. And of course, it depends on what size brisket you have. If you have a probe thermometer like this, you could go ahead and place it in your brisket now and leave the stainless wire hanging out. However, for the benefit of those who may not have a remote probe thermometer, such as mine, I will do it this way so that everyone can follow along. And until the brisket hits 180 degrees Fahrenheit internal temperature, there's nothing else for us to do but to occasionally check the water pan. The brisket has been on for about 3 hours now, so you want to blend your apple cider vinegar and apple cider together into a small spray bottle. Give it a little shake. Open your grill and spray. Make sure to lightly spray all of the bark, and also just do it on a mist, not a hard spray, because you don't want to disturb the bark from your brisket. It's time for one more spray over the bark, and then I will leave the brisket alone until it's done. It's been almost 12 hours, and my probe is telling me that it's now 180 degrees. I will use a fish spatula and a pair of tongs, and I already have 2 layers of aluminum foil, heavy-duty aluminum foil, laid out on top of my cutting board, and I have my edges folded up to catch any of the wonderful juices that are going to come off of this thing. The brisket looks great. Be careful not to destroy your hard-earned bark. I can't wait. We're almost there now. Leave your probe hanging out of one side, and very tightly as possible, wrap your brisket twice with aluminum foil. Once you have your brisket double wrapped in foil tightly, transfer it to a clean towel or some newspaper, bundle it up tightly in that, and now we can store the brisket in a cooler, or you could also store it in your Kamado with the dampers completely closed, and you want to wait until your brisket hits 190 degrees Fahrenheit. At that point, it's rested and ready to slice. Use a sharp knife and slice your brisket about every 1/4 of an inch. I want to show you up close how nice and pink the smoke ring is. And you just want to keep cutting in about 1/4 of an inch increments until you slice the entire brisket. And this is a burnt end. This is a delicacy in some parts of the United States. Here you go. This is what our brisket looks like, sliced, shingled on a platter, ready for tailgate, a picnic, or a church luncheon. I hope you enjoyed making brisket with me today, or should I say over the last day and a half. I know I definitely have enjoyed having you, and I've definitely enjoyed making and eating brisket, so thank you to all of our subscribers who suggested that we do brisket. It actually allows me to do these kind of things. I really appreciate it. We hope that you'll continue to watch and let us know what you'd like to see. Remember, at BBQGuys.com, we smoke the competition.